the most confounding, the most confusing firing of the day coming down in Miami with Brian Flores being relieved of his duties after 3 seasons. To me, it makes zero sense. Brian Flores, by the way, had a winning record 2 out of the 3 years in Miami after some very lean years beforehand. But this, to me, move makes zero sense. We've discussed that. I'll circle back to my thoughts in a second here. But the reason why it's even more confusing is because not only is Brian Flores fired, Chris Grier, the general manager, is retained. So if you look at this roster, you look at this team, how can you blame the head coach for 2 winning records in 3 years? Now, they didn't make the playoffs, but 2 winning records in 3 years. You blame the coach for maybe not getting the most out of this roster, but you don't blame the GM for swinging and missing on so many of these draft picks that have left the Dolphins in not a really desirable spot. Like, Stephen Ross is talking today. He's doing his press conference actually right now as we speak. He claims that the quarterback has nothing to do with Brian Flores getting fired. Claims that he still has faith in Tua, still believes in Tua. The reality is, Chris Grier, hindsight or not, chose Tua Tagovailoa over Justin Herbert. I'm a Tua guy. I think Tua will become a good quarterback. The reality is, though, if I asked you right now, would you rather have Tua or Justin Herbert? Everyone with a brain is taking Justin Herbert right now, and rightfully so. So you have a head coach who seemingly, right, isn't the one who makes the quarterback choice. It is the general manager. Chris Grier swung a miss on drafting Tua over Justin Herbert. Chris Grier has managed to construct the worst offensive line in the NFL. That's not hyperbole. This offensive line is garbage. Garbage. And they have put a lot of assets into the O-line. Draft picks, trades, free agent signings. They have tried now for 2 years to build this offensive lineup to make it a decent O-line, to get some protection, to have whoever is back there, whether it's Jacoby Brissett, whether it's Ryan Fitzpatrick, or obviously whether it's mostly Tua Tagovailoa, they try to build an O-line that could give them any modicum of time to have success, and they have failed miserably. So you now have the GM make the wrong quarterback decision in Tua over Justin Herbert, have had him construct the worst offensive line in the NFL. To his credit, he got Jalen Waddle right. That is the right move. You got Jalen Waddle. Congratulations. You also have swung a miss on every other skill position there, whether it's on the draft or free agency. You signed Will Fuller. Will Fuller played, 3 games this year? Barely was able to play. Shocker. He couldn't get on the field. He's had injury issues all of his career, and they thought, let's bring him in. He'll be fine. Couldn't get on the field. I like Devontae Parker. He's also injury prone. Albert Wilson, waste. The running backs. Duke Johnson was the best running back the Dolphins had this year, and he was brought in late in the year. Late in the year. Anyone they draft, anyone they sign the free agency has been a bust. So you have Chris Grier right now swinging and missing on basically every position on the offense outside of Jalen Waddle. And he's able to retain his job. How does that make any sense? Somebody make it make sense for me. And not to mention, now, if you're the Dolphins, you fire your golden ticket to getting DeShaun Watson. Let's call for what it is, right? DeShaun Watson right now, we know the only team DeShaun Watson has publicly accepted a trade or waived his no trade clause, I should say, to, is the Dolphins. He wanted to play in Miami, not because of the weather, not because of Chris Grier, or because of the great defense or the great offense, that they have in Miami. He wanted to play in Miami because of Brian Flores specifically. That was the driving force for DeShaun Watson wanting to go to Miami, was Brian Flores. And now you fire the one guy who was most likely going to allow DeShaun Watson or entice DeShaun Watson to go to Miami. You fire the one guy. So if you look at this team, worst O-line in the NFL, no great skill players outside of Jalen Waddle, 0 run game to rely on. And now if you're DeShaun Watson, why the hell would you want to go to Miami? You fire the one guy, the leader, the leadership that DeShaun Watson is craving. You fire. So I don't care who you bring in. I don't see how that head coach is going to persuade still DeShaun Watson to want to come to Miami. So whether he's cleared or not and is able to get traded, I don't think it's going to be to the Dolphins now. And the Dolphins screwed that up royally. Screwed it up.